Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of As the Skeleton Key Turns. So, real quick to catch everyone up, thank you again, of course, for listening to our podcast and spreading our wonderful ghost stories, conspiracy theories, our podcast. Thank you for sharing it. We appreciate it. Uh, if you want to know why I might sound a little bit different tonight, it's because I am traveling and I forgot my microphone, so I'm using my headset. So I do apologize if I sound a little bit more, what do you call it? Where it's like it's the 1940s and 19. Welcome into the radio station. Hi, I'm your host, Jimmy John America. Pre World War II. But yeah, so I do sound a little bit different tonight. So I do apologize, but I am traveling for work. So I am kind of everywhere at the same time while I'm still in my own mind. But yes, so uh, as always, I am joined by Christina, my
Hello.
lovely other host. Yes, we enjoy doing this so much. We're tired, we are, but being that we are tired, the show must go on. And with that being said, today's episode, tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this episode is going to be something of more spooky because of the events that came and led to the town as it is today. This town has done one of two things: attracted a ton of visitors and has been the basis of a very popular video game. So, without further ado, I lead it over to Christina and we see where we shall go. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. So, tonight we're going to talk about kind of a spooky place. It's Centralia, Pennsylvania. So, it's an abandoned town in Columbia County, Pennsylvania, right? So, the town was founded in the mid 1800s because of a massive anthracite coal deposit beneath that area. So at its peak, Centralia had more than 1,000 residents, along with schools, churches, businesses, and of course the active mining operation. But beneath the town, they built a complex network of underground coal mines and tunnels. And in May 1962, the town attempted to clean up a local landfill before Memorial Day by burning trash. I mean, that's probably not a great idea, but that's what they did, right? So there was a fire that started during the trash that was unexpected. It is believed that they ignited an exposed coal seam that was connected to the abandoned mine tunnels. And then, once the coal catches fire, it can burn continuously because coal acts as fuel and the mine shaft surely provides oxygen. They attempted to extinguish this fire, but didn't work. The underground fire continued spreading beneath the town for years. So I don't know what I would do if I knew there was a fire burning beneath my feet. But they didn't realize what was going on until they started noticing some strange environmental changes. The ground was hot, right? So that would be my first clue something's not right. The ground is hot. Steam started rising from the cracks in the earth, and the vegetation died, right? So all the plants, the grass, everything was dying. They found dangerous levels of carbon monoxide in their homes. And then finally, sinkholes began appearing throughout Centralia as the underground tunnels weakened. So that's pretty scary. Pretty
I
scary.
mean, if my feet were burning underneath me, I would think one of two things. Number one, if I was a believer in the divine that is of certain religion, I'd be like, well, the devil's taking me down to Georgia and this is not where I need to go. Or number two, man, I really should have turned the oven off. Either that or Satan, really, bud? Like, come on, man. Like, hot,
Right.
really? Now, of all things? Did you not fucking
Right.
wait till, I don't know, the second coming? No? Okay, cool. Let's go. But apparently, just like, fuck it, let's set the bitch on fire. Anyhow, go on.
Right. So I mean, like, the government wasn't like, hey, maybe y'all should leave when all this started happening. Like, that would have been the first thing that I did if I was running the government. But, anyways, so in 1981, there was a 12-year-old boy named Todd Demboski that nearly died after a massive sinkhole opened up beneath him in his grandmother's yard. That sinkhole was
Don't worry, Grandma.
estimated, right, 150
Don't worry,
feet deep,
Grandma.
it was estimated.
Oh my God. I'm
Yeah,
not
he
playing.
lived. He lived. He did not
Oh,
meet his demise in the sinkhole. He was pulled to safety.
okay.
This is the incident that brought the town to the map, right? So no one
Mhm.
knew about Centralia, Pennsylvania before until
Right.
this happened.
Right.
So government officials determined at that time that the
Hmm.
fire posed serious long-term danger to residents. It took that to happen. I
So
mean,
it
come
took a boy to get. Okay, hang on. So
on.
let's rewind for just a minute, right? So it took a boy, right? Okay, child, small child, to go. Hi, Grandma. I'm
Right.
gonna go and play back here. Okay, so you know the way. It's a safe place. Yeah. Okay, Grandma. Okay, get that.
Right.
Well, damn it. Not. Oh, I don't know. The burning heat. I don't know. The coal fires. Oh, I don't
The
know. The
carbon
vegetation of
monoxide
them.
in the homes, right? Like
Yeah.
steaming cracks rising. Like, come on. Like, none of that clued you in to like what was happening. Like, they
None
knew
of
the
that
fire
stuff
was there,
was.
but they were like, ah, I mean, it was the 80s, I guess. Or, I mean, the
I,
60s to the 80s. Things were a little different then. But,
I mean, I guess, but fuck. Like, if you're just gonna be like, oh man, it just needs to be the stoners down the street, Mister and Mrs. Hoblob, and like you just see Mister and Mrs. Hoblob outside, like fucking poking it with 4 foot bongs, and it's like, don't worry, man, it's just the psycho government trying to take your powers, man. Not saying I'm not a pothead, but like, I mean, oh God, I can only think of the news interviews. So what did you think of the burning smokestacks? Man, I
right.
remember this one time this boy man fell down this hole. It was wicked.
Oh my gosh.
But,
Yes.
oh, anyway, go on.
So bad. I mean, just, yeah. So, it took till the 1980s, after 1981, when that situation had with that kid, that the
Right.
federal government decided to start relocating the residents, and they were bought out. They were
All
bought
right.
out. I mean, for their safety. So at least I hope they got
Yeah.
something.
Right.
They did demolish a lot of homes and buildings, and yeah, so the streets eventually disappeared. Nothing was taken care of anymore because now this place has been deserted. They even took the town zip code away in 2002.
Well, now I'm upset. What if I wanted to go visit? What if I wanted to vacation
Right.
in Centralia?
I mean, they say that there's a small number of residents that are still there, but the majority of people are gone. They are estimating that this fire could continue burning for another 200 to 250 years.
Peace.
Yeah. So I know, like, okay, I grew up that way, right? And we used to
Mhm.
go um, out to Pennsylvania all the time. And I remember going and hearing the stories because you can tour the coal mines up there. And as a kid, like, I hear underground coal mine fire and we're going into a coal mine. I'm like terrified, right? Like, terrified. I am not the strong person that I am today that runs into the darkness after the noise. Like, I wasn't like that then. So terrifying nightmares.
Like
Right.
I can see it now. I can see it now. It's like, your parents, your mom or whatever, Jane was with you. It's like, okay, so we're gonna go see the coal mines. Oh, cool, coal mines, but they're on fire.
Right. Like, I'm in a coal mine and they're telling a story about the burning coal
You,
mines. And I'm
you
just like,
fucking look, you're
get
looking
me out
around
of
like,
here. Right. As they're
Like I
telling
will
you the
get.
story about the canaries and how things can happen and all that, like I'm a kid. I'm terrified.
Right.
Right. So, well, I mean, it's still burning today. So some
Right.
areas of the ground are still emitting smoke and steam, right?
Okay.
Because fire, still fire. So a
Yep.
section of Route 61 that goes through the town and was abandoned became famous, and they called it Graffiti Highway. But the highway
Yep.
buckled and cracked, because of the heat. I mean, it's intense heat. So this place became a tourist attraction, and people put artwork, messages, symbols, eerie warnings. Eventually, Graffiti Highway was covered with dirt so that no one could visit because people were trespassing and checking it out and all that stuff. And it's really not safe there. Not to say I wouldn't do it now, but it's not
I
safe.
mean, I totally would. Granted, would I fall in one of the flaming burning pits? 99% said probably. 1% said
So,
no. Fuck it, we ball.
right, right. Um, so it is believed
Mm-hmm.
to have, like, the events there to have inspired the atmosphere and appearance of the Silent Hill movie.
Yes. Yes, it has. And on that note, might I say, not only did it inspire the Silent Hill movie, but it also inspired the Silent Hill video game because, and this is lore, this is legend, right? Now, I don't know how true it is, but I'm pretty sure some of the gases are to blame. But
Mm-hmm.
there are accounts of the sirens still going off to this
Ooh.
day, right? Now, of course, they're dead. They're demolished. They're not there. They're not in the town. Like there are no. That town has no sirens in it. None. Right now, they did back, did the '60s and stuff, because of coal mining town and war and weather.
Right.
Right? They did have sirens. They did have or tornado sirens. Tornado sirens. But that town has not had sirens for years. The legend
Mm.
is that Siren Head, one of the most famous monsters, baddies in the Silent Hill game, is believed to be heard at the entrance of the town. And if you hear Siren Head, your death is imminent. That means you will
Mhm.
die if you step in the town, according to local legend and lore. Now, there have been disputes, of course, the gases, the methane, the carbon monoxide is all to blame. People are hallucinating,
Right.
they're inhaling the toxic fumes, which fine. I can somewhat agree. So I think there is some delirium that is associated with Siren Head, but that is where we get Siren Head from, is from the old tornado sirens that people can still sometimes hear in the dead of night when no one's around, and you can hear them go off as if a tornado is coming. It is eerie, and I don't know if there's any video, but there is some legend behind it. So that's a side piece.
That's very interesting because what I found was people were reporting unexplained noises, seeing shadowy figures, experiencing an overwhelming sense of dread or unease, and sudden temperature changes, which honestly you could explain with everything that's going on. I mean, the place is just full of toxins.
Oh yeah,
So, I mean, you could totally, explain all of that. Some people have claimed that they hear distant mining sounds beneath the ground. I mean, I
yep.
wonder if people lost their lives when this fire happened, if they were in the ground mining.
Well, see, and here's the thing. I'm sure they did, right? Because mining in the '40s, the '60s, and stuff. I'm pretty sure there weren't exactly great safety regulations. Let's be honest. But
Right.
also too, I can guarantee you at least 10% of the miners, maybe 20%, have lost their lives down there. And they think, well, I don't know if they think this, but I'm pretty sure they have the inclination to think the spirits think that they're maybe in hell because of the burning coal that
Yeah.
surrounds them when they're not really in hell. They're just in a burning pit of coal.
Right. It feels like hell.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it does. I'm pretty sure it does. It gets blisteringly fucking hot that it cracks the damn road. But yeah, no, and the other thing is too, not Silent Hill, Centralia itself has a tie to Gettysburg. Funny enough,
Really?
because troops from Gettysburg have at one point been known to like camp up there. So at one point, the whole battle of Gettysburg and everything, troops would retreat far up north, right? Just like far up north to get away from the battle. And of course, hospitals were up there and stuff like that, and wound wards or medical wards were up there. So there are some ties to the Gettysburg fight to Centralia. So Centralia just doesn't hold just the mining aspect. No, it holds the Gettysburg aspect as well.
Wow. I didn't even think about it. I love Gettysburg. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's very small,
Um,
but
Still, I mean, I guess that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, just to tell you how hot it was, right? This in
okay.
1979, there was a gas station owner who measured the temperature of his underground gas tanks at 172 degrees Fahrenheit.
How
What?
did they not explode?
Right. Like what?
Because
What?
damn. Talk about hot rods.
Um,
Sorry.
right. There's steam, smoke seen venting from by the town cemeteries as well. So that's creepy.
Oh, you know what? Okay, hang on. Wait a minute. So not only do we have carbon monoxide, right? It's very dangerous,
Mhm.
silent killer, literally silent killer.
Yes.
Along
Yes.
with methane and the soot and sinew
Oh
of, of
yeah.
the of the coal, right? But think about it. Bodies were buried in Centralia. Now,
Mm-hmm.
hear me out on the medical side, right? Let's advert our viewpoint for just a hot minute. Decomposition takes place within the first 12 hours of death, right? Okay,
It
60s and
starts.
80s embalm. Yeah, right. So 60s and 80s embalming wasn't super popular, but it was enough, right? That morticians started to embalm bodies more and more, especially as health regulations became greater and greater. Um, think of the embalming chemicals and the graves that did not have um, what do you call them, vaults, right? The
Mm-hmm.
the bodies that didn't have vaults and that just were naturally buried, or if they were buried and embalmed, think of the fumes from the formaldehyde and all the chemicals, and of course the body decomp.
Right.
Like that is a disgusting smell. The,
Sure. Absolutely.
but like to think, not only are we having all these dangerous gases, but now we're having possible formaldehyde fumes and decomposition fumes thrown into the populace. So yeah, no wonder people were going fucking stark raving mad in Centralia and they can hear shit.
So actually, I'm looking into that because, I wanted to know if they took their families with them when they left or they just left them there. So actually, the majority of the cemeteries are on the hillsides around. So they are somewhat safer than being in the town proper from the heat. But yes, it is definitely venting gases and all that stuff around the cemeteries. So there's a mixture there. I guess they just couldn't get everyone out. It was too much. I mean, it was just too much. But sometimes like volunteers and stuff do go and take care of the graves and whatnot. So that's good. At least they didn't completely forget about them.
Yeah, that is fair.
Interesting.
And I mean, think
Interesting.
about it. Like that's got to be one of the weirdest but coolest volunteer jobs ever, right? Because there is a chance over the next 250 years, right? There is a chance that the heat could reach the hillsides and
Sure.
eventually creep up. And now you're looking at, sunken in graves or a
Right.
really hot ground. Like, how are you going
What
to
if
tend
things
to that? Because,
collapse? Yeah. What if it
yeah,
collapses?
yeah, because now if it collapses, now those, unfortunately, that are deceased and buried, they
Right.
get, pitfalled into the burning coal. So now it just makes it even like worse because now that's disturbing the soul, right? So now you've disturbed the soul unintentionally, of course, but like
Right.
that's just going to cause more chaos.
I think so.
Oh,
Just
that's
negative stuff. But it, anywhere around the industrial areas up in that section of the country where there's valleys, um, it is a known fact that those gases will settle into, like, the smog even will settle down into those valleys, and it creates sicknesses and hallucinations and illnesses. And wasn't that Monongahela Valley or something happened there where people were sick from the air? So I mean, it's good that they left, but it just gave rise to, you know, a great movie and series.
oh yeah, the Monongahela Forest. Yeah, there's the Monongahela Forest, the Monongahela Valley. Yeah, I remember reading about that. I'm gonna have to study back
Yeah.
up on that.
I saw
Hmm.
like a documentary about it where the people were all getting sick and they couldn't figure out why, but I guess the air was not moving the way that the currents were with the jet stream and whatnot. Like, it was just not moving the air, and all of the pollution and stuff from the factories just kind of settled into that valley, and people were getting very, very sick. And they couldn't figure out why, because it was like a long time ago and they didn't realize what was actually going on.
That's fair. That's damn sucks, but it's fair. Jeez. Yeah, no, the whole Centralia thing. I mean, yeah, to anyone listening, right? To those that are listening, just know that it is. There's people have made roadmaps. You can still get to it. Yes, you have to be careful. So please, we are not condoning that you go to Centralia. Number one, we are not
No.
condoning that that you walk the grounds of Centralia. Number two, and we are not condoning that you visit the graves of Centralia. Number three, we do not condone any of this. But I will say this: you can still get there. It is still you're still able to visit, but just know that there is risk and no reward. That's all I'm saying. There is risk and no reward to visit Centralia, Pennsylvania. It is not even, and to those that, if anyone's listening overseas, don't come to America to go to a burning, fiery pit of coal. It's just
Right.
not great. Coal's not a clean resource anymore. Coal hasn't been a clean resource for years, but do we still use it in West Virginia? Yes, we
Sure
do.
do.
Unfortunately.
I mean, maybe like look from a distance. If you absolutely have to go, look from a distance. I'm sure you can see the weird fogginess and just creepiness of it.
If you take a drone, if you know someone who knows how to fly a drone, or you know how to fly a drone, use a drone. That's the
With the
safest
proper
way.
pilot licensing.
Yes, with the proper pilot license, because Pennsylvania does have drone laws. Absolutely, they have very strict drone laws, and it is still U.S. airspace. So you do still have to follow U.S. air laws. So that's another thing. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, like Christian said, look at it from a distance. It's not worth the reward. There's no reward there. It's just an abandoned ghost town that maybe has what 20 residents according to the last census, and they all live on the outskirts of Centralia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
I mean,
you
you're
know,
taking a risk of developing all kinds of chronic health conditions.
oh yeah, tons. I
Being
mean,
there.
yeah, just breathing the air. I mean, it's like, and the thing is, it has this constant air of unsettling because everyone had to leave in such a hurry. It's like the exclusion zone, right? It's America's exclusion zone. Think of it that way, because there's the exclusion zone of Pripyat, with reactor number three. No one wants to go to reactor number three or no one can live in Pripyat anymore. And it's like, so no one can live in Centralia anymore. It's our own exclusion zone. We can't do it. We are not allowed to, not only for the safety of our families and stuff, but the government has deemed it like no go. You
Bad,
can't
bad,
do it,
bad.
bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not even a
I,
zip code anymore.
right. I wonder if like the energy, like just the fire, the energy that's being released could increase paranormal activity if there was any there. Because I mean,
I would,
yes, it's not electronic and it's not like
yeah.
whatever, but it was traumatic for the people that were there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like fire fueling it. I'm
Yeah.
curious.
I'm pretty sure it's definitely traumatic for the people that were there because they're just like, like, oh man, we had to like abandon our home and everything,
Right.
in a very quick manner. So like there's probably some energy that is stored there.
Right. Man, I can't say I've ever been there. I've been all around there, just never there, which I mean, I may as well have been, I guess.
I mean, the only
It's
exclusion
terrifying
zone
in the mind.
yeah, I mean, I've drove past Centralia. It's like
Right.
I've been up in Pennsylvania plenty of times, and I've drove past
Yeah.
Centralia, but like I've never. The only exclusion zone I guess I could say I could go in, and this kind of ties in because it is an exclusion zone. So in the state of West Virginia, there is what's known as the dead zone, and the dead
Mhm.
zone literally the minute you enter the very second, it's like it's got a shield, almost like a Faraday shield, right?
Ooh,
Like from the road, it cuts your radio off, it cuts your cell phone off, you're not
really?
allowed to have microwaves, radios, televisions, internet. You can have nothing. You almost live Amish, almost.
Why?
So it is a satellite zone. So it is primarily
Mm,
used for space research and forest research, but it is
okay.
a true dead zone. It is really like, I think three people have a microwave. Three out of a town that has a population of over 100. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's no grocery stores. There's no gas stations. It is very strict when you enter the zone. And it is it's almost the northern middle part of the state, right before you get into Morgantown, West Virginia. And it's about
Okay.
it's about 2 hours to get up there. Um, but literally, it cuts everything off. You have no cell phone signal. You have nothing, nothing.
Wow.
There's nothing that can reach you. Like you are there, you are dead to the world. No one knows you're there. Like you get in the car crash there, you can't call an ambulance. There's no cell phone signal. You can have landlines. There's landlines there. People still use landlines, but that's all they got for communication. I mean, it's like you're literally like you're living with the Amish, but you're not. And it's a weird. I will talk more on it later because it is highly interesting. Um, like I
Little
said,
conspiracy type conversation.
well, yes and no. So I wouldn't say it's conspiracy theory. I won't say that. I mean, there are
Oh,
some conspiracy theories that lead to it. People think it's an FBI black site, which of course, if you know anything about an FBI black site, um, I'm pretty sure my FBI agents listen to me right now. But if you know about an FBI website, it's where the FBI has deemed old structures, hospitals, clinics, buildings to be used for their own private research and
yeah.
their own privacy. And so a while back, and this is a wild theory, someone said they think it's a military black site, an FBI black
Mhm.
site. And of course, it was disproven. There's been numerous things on it, but we don't know everything about the site.
Of course
Not
not.
everything do we know. And we know enough to where it's like, okay, nothing can exist in this thing electronically. Um, but yet you can drive through it, drive around it. There's a road that runs straight through the town. I mean, just like it's a straight shot. There's no curves, no nothing. It's just like they have purposefully made it to where you can get in and out of the town the quickest way possible. Like they don't want any curves, they don't want any tight turns. I mean, they have literally carved the mountains of Appalachia to make sure it is a straight shot through where you have no stops. You just go. You don't stop. You don't look. You just go. And I don't know of any houses for sale in the town. I don't know of any places that get rented out in the town. Because like I said, it's so strict and it's so just closed off to the world. But yet it's right here in the heart of Appalachia. It's just like cool story, bro. So I will speak on that another time. It is a very interesting topic to discuss.
I've just looked it up. It's very interesting.
Mhm,
Very
mhm.
interesting.
Did
I
you see
didn't
where
even know it
there's no
existed.
microwave? Yeah, no microwaves.
Yeah, it's yeah, all of that, all like communication, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cell phone is outlawed.
Yeah, it's literally like it for I don't know how they do it. And I'm pretty sure there was fake trees there because that's another
It's like
thing. That's
jammers or something.
yeah, Jamers. So okay, so real quick, not to be on a conspiracy train, like derailing this episode, but okay, so real quick, do you know about the metal trees?
No.
You don't. Okay,
Hmm.
so they exist in Florida, Georgia, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, and Illinois. They are trees that are to look and mimic a tree of the region. So in Florida, primarily down to Miami, Dade, and Tampa, Tampa proper, there are palm trees. Now, these palm trees are not real palm trees, but they look real,
I hate palm trees anyways.
right? They look real, 100%, right? But their leaves and the tops of their branches are metal with receivers and jammers
Wow.
used by the US government for purposes of spy and surveillance.
And on that note, no.
And we're done. No, seriously, look up metal trees. They're real. Like there's metal trees in West Virginia. There's metal trees everywhere on the eastern seaboard because they can blend in so well. Now, with that being said, there are metal trees in the wireless exclusion zone.
Hmm.
100% there are metal trees. They look like pine trees, tall pines, but they're not real. The whole tree itself, the trunk itself, is a metal shaft painted like a Bob Ross painting, And the needles are like plastic Christmas tree needles. And what they do to change them during the season, quote unquote, is they wait till nighttime and they pull the branches off and put the seasonal branches on. They're the first trees to change.
What?
Yes, they're real. They are real. Yeah. Yeah. I don't mean to derail the episode from Centralia, but I just want
No,
to
no,
point that out.
no, no. It's crazy. I
It's
I'm
it's,
I'm seeing some stuff. Wow. Okay. Covert listening devices and cameras disguised as tree stumps, hollow logs, and artificial metal branches. Oh, that's great.
yeah, yeah.
I'm never gonna look at a tree the same.
And what's funny is you can you can kind of spot them in a way. Like if you're looking real close, you can tell when it's a fake tree. Like its branches will be weird looking or it won't sway like the rest of the trees. So like there's a certain tree that people love. Like there's a certain type of tree that the government or the military likes to use, and it's the white oak bark tree, right? The white oak bark tree doesn't really bloom. It stays very ragged, it looks
Right.
sick all the time, right? But it's not, right? And it's just got this white oak bark on
Right.
it.
It's probably easier to
It
mimic.
is. It's very easy to mimic, and people not think anything of it. Like, oh, it's just a tree. It's just a white, and it looks real, right? Because they cover it with real bark. But underneath it's metal. It's a metal tree that has listening devices or geographical location tags or, it's or transducers. It's so freaking weird. It's like one of those things like I didn't believe it when I heard it. I was like, no, tree's not real. And they're like, no, like one of my buddies showed me, he's like, no, they're real. And he like there's a video online of a metal tree in somewhere in the eastern region, don't know where it's at, but it's a pine tree. And you can literally tell that it is fake. It looks fake. It's taller than the rest of the trees. And it's got a very glow dimming red light at the top to warn planes that it's a tower,
Hmm.
not a tree. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird.
So it's just,
When So you were talking about this area, right? Before we were talking about the trees, but you were talking about the area, and that kind of made something pop in my head about the zone of silence in Mexico.
oh,
Have you heard of that?
I have
So
not.
it's not like a man-made place. It's underdeveloped desert region in the Chihuahuan Desert near
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna murder these words, but it overlaps the Mapimi Biosphere Reserve, and it goes through Durango, Chihuahua, and yep, there's another one that I'm not even gonna try to say.
Oh,
But
you met,
it's in Mexico, yeah. It's in Mexico. And there's very unusual electromagnetic anomalies in this area, like the compasses will spin, shortwave radios will fall off. You can't get signals there, no phone, no nothing. So they say that the dead zone is because of the magnetic stuff. Like we were talking about last episode with the the ore and the volcanic rock, how it kind of absorbs and it makes everything go crazy in the Kigahara forest. But this does it
yes,
there too. So they're saying it's magnetite and uranium. And then you've got mountains surrounding the area. So you're in like kind of a valley there.
right,
There's a high rate of meteorites there. But they do say that this silent zone is very, very deeply tied to UFO activity and alien encounters and there's mutated animals and plants. So they actually did a rocket test there in 1970, and well, it launched from Utah and lost control and it crashed in the area. So they're saying that the area messed up the signal or what have you. But yeah, it just popped in my head there when we were talking about this place. But this is
For you,
supposedly a
yeah.
natural place like that. So I don't know. I've never been
Well,
there.
so for you Spanish speakers out there, or anyone doesn't know, basically, so Martini Silent Zone or La Zona del Silencio. So if you all know what La Zona del Silencio is, tell us more about it because we would love to hear. That's also, well, so speaking of magnet fields, okay, so there's a place, I want to say, is it here in Virginia or Kentucky? It's in the Blue Ridge. It's in the Blue Ridge Appalachian Mountains.
Mhm.
But it is, I think it's here. But it's basically where the house is slanted, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
are standing perpendicular. And the magnetism is thrown off so much that water goes flows upward, not downward, but upward in the house, in the river, in the basins. Like water flows up instead of down naturally, like you would think gravity would do with water. But
Right.
yeah, no, it's you know what I'm talking about, right? I think it's in the Appalachian
I
Mountains.
do. I do. I feel like it's in out west somewhere though.
Um,
I'm
let
looking
me
it
see.
up. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, no, I am too. Let's see here.
There is one called Mystery Hill in Blowing Rock, North Carolina.
That's it. That's it. Mystery Hill. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. 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 Yep.
Yep. And these are optical illusions, or they're called them gravity hills. Then there's one in Santa Cruz, California, with the redwoods, and then there's Census Park in Riviera Maya, Mexico. So that it's all illusionary there.
Yes.
But in Green River, Utah, it actually supposedly flows uphill.
Huh.
But that's more
That is
geological, anyways. Yeah. But no. Yeah, I've heard about that. It's like the Spook Hill things too, where you supposedly like every state has one where you park your car, put it in neutral, and it like goes uphill. And supposedly the story is always that there was some sort of bus that had an accident, and there's children pushing the car up the hill.
Oh yeah. Isn't
Yeah,
isn't
like
that
everywhere.
legend also? Yeah, everywhere has like you said, Spook Hill or Spooky
Right,
Hill.
right, right,
Something like that. It's like, oh, the kids died in a tragic accident back in 1985, and there's a
right,
little
right.
story about his
They're pushing your car,
sister.
right? I can't remember. I watched a video though, where the people did it and then they showed their car after it got, up or whatever, and there was little fingerprints on the trunk where they were supposedly pushing the car. It was
Yeah,
weird.
I think I know what video you're talking about. I've seen it somewhere on YouTube where it's like yeah, every town has that like spooky hill, but like this
Right.
one town that you're talking about, like the legend is true, and like you see, yeah, I know what video you're talking about. It's oh God, was it? Did ghost hunters go to that hill?
Hmm. What?
Did ghost hunters go to that hill? I feel like either it was ghost hunters or ghost files. One of the
I
real
can't
popular ones went to this
remember.
hill. I know Zach Baggins, God forbid,
Hmm.
Baggins has explored these hills, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I shouldn't, but like I'm Zach Baggins, and when I was 14, I could talk to ghosts. And now I'm going to a haunted hill. Look at the fingerprints. Touch it. Touch it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He's going to come after me now. Pretty sure.
Ooh, Lewisberry, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so we got a trip up to
Right
PA.
back to Centralia, right? So, um,
Full
they
circle.
dusted the trunk with baby powder and they saw little handprints. Yep. Wow. Now
Okay.
there's one down
Oh,
here too in Lake Wales. I haven't been there, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should
okay.
go. A new
Okay.
trip.
So it all circled back to Centralia. It all circled back to Pennsylvania. Wow,
It
look at
did.
that. Look at the circle on that one. I think we just hit the Trinity. I'm not gonna lie. We hit Centralia, exclusion zone, other exclusion zone, back to Centralia. Yeah, no. Well, this has been enlightening. Sorry, listeners, to take you 400 left field feet out, but you know, geez,
It's
I
okay.
think I think next time, I think next time, this is a little teaser for the listeners. I think next time I would like, and I think this would be really cool, right? You all know who we are, right? By our voices, right? But you also don't know how crazy we actually are. I think I would like every single listener that listens in, goes on our Facebook page and comments a ghost story, paranormal activity sighting, something weird and obscure occultish. I would like to read your story. We would like to read your story and give our insight and opinion, not opinion, on that story. I think that would be awesome, especially for those that live near some of these places like Centralia or Gravity Hill or, the exclusion zone in Mexico, or the ones that live close in West Virginia to the dead zone in West Virginia. I would love to
Right.
hear some of these things like coming from different people's viewpoints because yeah, we cover a lot of stuff, but like just to hear it from others' perspective and point of view. And we wouldn't be bashing your story. We would just be kind of going like, that's really fucking cool.
Right.
Like we don't know everything. You all do. You all know. You all are in the outside world. We don't get to travel much. You know where we get to travel? The internet. Google. It's my favorite destination. Uh, but also the library. But yeah. Oh, speaking of, did I ever talk about the haunted library at Marshall University?
No.
Okay. Story time. So I am 18, 17, 18. Marshall University, what in Huntington, West Virginia. Now, this is an active college campus, so please do remember that. So this is an active school. You can't just walk onto the grounds willy nilly. You'll be asked if you're a student, a lot, or a teacher or something. Yes, I mean, you can walk onto the grounds, but you have to be careful where you go, being that it's an active school. But anyway, so Marshall University had two very old buildings. Holderby Hall, which is an old women's dorm that has now since been torn down, and Holderby Library. Now, Holderby Library still exists. It exists off the South Quad lawn of the original site of Marshall. So it's inside, encompassed by the campus. But there's the main library, which everyone sees from the road. But then if you get onto the campus and go to the South Quad, you'll see Holderby Library. Now, Holderby Library was built in, I want to say, 1950, 1960. But it wasn't always Holderby Library. It was actually Holderby Research Center and something else. I forgot the exact story behind it. But anyway, so Holderby Library is one of the oldest libraries in Marshall University. That being the case, and it also being a former research facility, was a medical theater. Now, it was a small
Oh,
medical theater, very tiny, very, very, very tiny, and it only happened in the basement. Now, the legend goes that back in the early 70s, 80s, or early 70s, late up to mid 80s, they stopped doing research and stuff there, and they turned it into a library to because halls have been built and places have been built now where medical research, small medical research, could be done. Right, and of course, Marshall is not known for medical. It's not a medical school. It's an arts and general studies college. Right, so it's not known for its medical shit. But anyway, there is a story that during a research experiment in the auditorium or the medical theater, there was a boy that was being studied for schizophrenia, and he was not properly tied down. Well, the doctors were doing their experiments and showing the adverse effects of schizophrenia, and of course in the 70s and 80s it was known as schizophrenia, but I don't think it was known enough. Medication hadn't evolved enough to really
oh, no, of course not.
probably treat schizophrenia, especially in the mountains of West Virginia. Right. So this makes it even worse. You're in a backward state. You're not in the progressive state at the time. You know, there's still asylums that still existed around this time. Take for instance the Huntington Cabell County mental ward, right, which is known as the Psychological Study Research Facility for Marshall University, right? That's what it's called now. But there is a psych ward up in Huntington, and of course, like I said, it wasn't being very well treated. So anyway, so the story goes that the boy, uh, during the medical theater, people were observing him and everything. Bear in mind the doctors had needles with different medication, with subdued
Yeah.
medication, right, to control the patient. Well, fortunately, the patient decided that they weren't going to have any of it. Their schizophrenia took over and they went into a state of crisis. So they
Hmm.
lost all mental capacity, right? They kind of just lost themselves. Well, during the schizophrenic episode, there's several reports of exactly what happened, but they're all mismatched. But there's some truth to all of it. The one thing that unifies is the boy essentially grabbed a needle and started repeatedly stabbing himself. Now, it wasn't a normal, butterfly needle. It wasn't an IV needle. It was an injection needle, right? A very thick titanium sealed needle, right?
Right.
One that's not going to break. Like it doesn't snap. It bends, but it does not break. And he just started stabbing himself repeatedly over and over and over and over and over until he killed himself, right? He stabbed himself enough that he bled out in the theater and killed himself. After
Wow.
that, they shut the doors. They said no more. So they got rid of the medical theater. They've cleaned everything up. And they put books down there, right? They put medical research books, specifically medical research books. And so now, years down the road, you know, students are going in and getting books. And the ones that are studying the little bit of medical that is offered by the university at the time, they're going down to the Horderby Library and, hey, where are the medical books? Oh, well, they're in the restricted section down in the basement. Got that key, here's the key. And to this day, it is still a restricted section. You still have to be an active student, and front desk to the library has to give you a key, an access card key, to even
Ooh.
get into the restricted section. And over time, people would go down, and they said, and there's like 3 or 4 desks down there, which is eerie in itself. But there's 3 or 4 desks. You hear nothing. You're cut out from the outside world. And you can't even tell this used to be a medical theater because the way they redid it, they got rid of, the seats and everything and where the table would set and all that. So you can't even tell it was a medical theater anymore. And the very first instance of a haunting was a young lady was down there and she said she heard someone giggle. Now, of course, she thought it was just another student. Well, it wasn't another student. It was a ghost or an apparition of some kind, a being, an entity. And she brushed it off. I said, it's the same. She brushed it off. So I step up, went upstairs, told the front desk, she said, hey, I heard someone down there. Was there anyone else down there before I went in? Librarian said, no one else went down before you. You were the only one down there for about 45 minutes. She said, what? She said, yeah, you were not joined by anyone. Like you were by yourself. She kind of got spooked a little bit. She said, okay, well, someone giggled. And the librarian said, I don't want to tell you. How do I say? Right? So the librarian dismissed it. Well, of course, the girl didn't take the books with her. She just laid them at the front desk. She didn't remember where she got them. Well, now, the second instance of a haunting being reported, the librarian went down into the restricted section to put the books back. And as the elevator doors opened, the light shut off and the elevator doors slammed shut.
Ooh.
Now she's standing outside the elevator and they just slam. They're not supposed to slam shut. They're supposed to gently close and the elevator
No,
doors
of course not. They'll take your arm off.
right. So the elevator doors just like boom. And there's no
Mm-mm.
lights and there's no windows in this basement. None. Right. And sometimes when some basements are built, they build weep windows or weep hole windows, right? Where you can kind of see that there's not even a weep hole window. It's just black. The lights go out and she just feels this sense of dread and she gets super nauseous and just wants to throw up. And all of a sudden the lights come back on and she hears a boy giggle.
Man.
She frantically starts pressing the elevator, can't get the door to open. So she runs to the emergency exit, sets off the emergency alarm to the library. Of course, the whole library is now screaming with an alarm. Runs up the stairs, runs out the library screaming, of course, causes mass panic in the library for the students that are upstairs. So they all pack their bags and run out of the library going like, oh, there's a fire, what's going on? And of course, campus security at the time is non-existent. So they called Cabell County Fire and Rescue. Well, Cabell County Fire and Rescue came, sweep the building, they found nothing. Not a
Of
thing.
course.
They did say the elevator doors were off kilter now and they would not shut properly. And she said,
Oh,
okay, well, I'll get that
funny.
fixed. I'll
Yeah.
I'll tell maintenance, fix them. And so she tells maintenance. Well, maintenance comes around. Now, this is the third haunting. So maintenance is working in the elevators. They have the elevator on the ground floor, which of course is the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working on it and they got the doors fixed and everything. And now they're, back on kilter. And as they're packing up, the maintenance get curious. They're like, well, we're not really here that much. We don't get called to this building that much to really do maintenance. Let's look around. So they look around, and as they're looking around, one of them sweeps the corner where it's like the far end of the bookshelves. And the story goes, he sweeps the corner, and as he's sweeping the corner to kind of just look around, all of a sudden he gets cold, wet rain cold, like so chilling, shaking, shivering teeth, rubbing his arms, trying to get warm. It is amazing. It is the middle of summer. It is July,
Oh, wow.
right? Middle of summer, buildings hot. No AC in this building, right? None, right? Windows are open. So it is hot in this basement. And he can see his breath. And he freaks out. He
Mm-mm-mm.
runs to the elevator. And he looks at his maintenance partner and he said, let's go. We got to go. And his maintenance partner's just standing there, drooling, mouth agape,
What?
just drooling. And he says, no, I stay. Dude gets freaked out, goes up, runs out the building, calls the police and says, I think my guy did some drugs, right? Because that's what you're going to think, right? And
Right. Yeah.
Huntington's known for its drugs, right? It's not the cleanest place in West Virginia by any means. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's drugs are very apparent up there, and
Right.
especially in the 70s and 80s.
He was probably
And
trying to save his life.
right, he was like, he's like, supposed taking meth or acid or shrooms or he's fucking did something, right? He's on drugs.
Right.
Health police and said, "Hey man, I need you all to come down here. I think my buddy did drugs. Was freaking out. He's drooling. He's not really talking." And the police come to campus, and they all go in, and a different librarian said, "That's just what's going on." And he said, "Come, like my buddy is on drugs. Like he's zoned out. Like I don't know what to do." I said, "Okay, whatever." So the police go downstairs. Lights are off. There's no lights on in the basement. Elevator door opens, and the dude's not there. So police don't get off the elevator. The guy doesn't get off. He yells out for his buddy, like, hey, where are you? No response. The lights are still off. There's a light switch beside the elevator, and he like flicks the switch. Lights don't come on. The power's not out because the elevator's working. So they ride the elevator back up. Police are already spooked out. He's spooked out. And he goes up and he goes, hey, did you see anyone leave like from the time that I left the building to call the police to now? Did anyone come up the elevator or up the stairs? Like see anyone leave? No, I haven't seen anyone leave. He goes, what do you mean? She goes, I haven't seen anyone leave. And so he freaks out, police freak out, and they're like, well, we have to find your friend. Like we have to make sure he's okay. So they go
Yeah.
back down, open the doors to the elevator, lights are on. Guy flicks the switch, lights turn off, guy flicks the switch again, lights turn back on. So lights are on now. So light power's working, right? And one of the police officers is like, where's the breaker panel to this library? He goes, oh, well, it's up on first floor, behind the librarian section. There's the breaker panel. And he goes, do you think maybe she messed with it? He goes, I don't think so. I don't think she knows how, as far as I know. Right. And so the police, okay, well, whatever. Well, let's call up for your buddy. Where would he be at? Like, he's got to be down here. And, he's talking to the police officer. Like, I guess he's down here. Like, I don't know. And so the police look at him and they kind of look at each other and like, okay, well, this is weird. You said there was someone in trouble and now there's no one here. She said that
Right.
no one left, but she thought you leave. So like, your story's not adding up. Like, something's wrong. So he said,
Right.
look, I'm telling you, right? I promise you, there was someone down here with me. We had to fix the elevator. I'm losing my fucking mind. Police like, okay, fine, 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 fine. So they start yelling out, hey, is anyone here? Hey, 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 trying to get someone's attention. And, there's one turns to the right, one turns to the left, and the dude is just standing dead center, right at the elevator. He's outside the elevator. He's not inside. He's outside. And all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden the lights go off again. Police
Uh-oh.
freak out. He freaks out and he's flipping the switch and the police flashlights come on. Well, by the time that the police flashlights come on, they're
No.
sweeping. And as they're sweeping at the very back toward the library, this makes my fucking skin crawl. I can feel it. They see a body and it's the dude. It's the missing dude. And he's just standing there drooling, just drooling, right? Not blood, not vomit, just drooling out his fucking mouth. Oh, it's makes my skin crawl. And the police go, hey, who are you? And the guy just falls over, dead of a fucking heart attack.
Oh my God.
Died right there. God, it makes my I hate that. I got goosebumps. But yeah, so that is the story of Holderby Hall. For now, modern day, I have been in the basement. Books have moved. I have heard giggles. The lights have gone out. The elevator has stopped working. The emergency alarm stairs are no longer alarms. They're just emergency stairs that you can just go up to the first floor and leave the building. Um, but yeah, I have been down there. It has gotten cold. Of course, now they have AC, but like, in the summertime, you wanted heat. Well, or in the wintertime, you want heat. Well, I've been down there during the winter, when heat is on, and I know heat is on, and I get cold. I got chilly. Like I had to put a jacket on cold. And, I've looked around and like I picked the book up, looked at it, put it back, and all of a sudden I hear, oh, sounds like something hit the ground. I turn around, the book's on the floor. Pick it back up, put it back on the shelf. Come back around the corner, book's on the floor again. Same book, right? So Holderby Hall or Holderby Library is incredibly haunted to this day. And
Yikes.
no one knows if it's truly a heart attack that killed the dude, right? One of the maintenance workers. They say it was a heart attack,
Right.
right? It could have been I mean, people, there's the old saying, oh, you scared me half to death, right? Like, that made my heart stop. Like, I just
Right.
wonder if maybe the guy was on drugs. Maybe he did take something that unfortunately let him meet his untimely end. But the events that followed before that, the prior events, there's something more to that. Like, I wonder like what really, because there's different versions of the story, right? Some people say it was just a maintenance man by himself and the librarian went and checked on him. Others say it was the middle of the night and the maintenance men were working and they got freaked out and there was no one else in the library and they called police. There's 100 different accounts of the story. Of course, there's stories online about the haunted library of Marks University. Some say it was not a medical theater. Some say someone just died of a heart attack. But regardless, it's haunted. It's haunted enough that if I took you on the campus and took you to the library, you would feel something malevolent. It's not kind. It's not nice. And it doesn't want you there at all. It wants no one there. Whatever is there does not like visitors. There have been, and it's practicing pagans at Marshall, right? Of course, different religions of faith, but, people who practice witchcraft or, whatever, what have you. I, at the time, of course, was, like I said, 18 years old. So, I was studying witchcraft and stuff. And so I would take, sage down with me and I would sage the bottom of the library. It didn't help. If you sage the library, it's incredibly cold. I mean, bone chillingly cold. Like you want to put a jacket on. It gets so fucking cold. And it's like, it's unreal because you're thinking like, how is it possible? And like you go back upstairs and it's perfect temperature. It's nice, comfortable. But you go downstairs and it is chilly. I guess because it's partly underground. True. But there's something to that library that still doesn't make sense. And books are still, I mean, students to this day still say they hear books being thrown off shelves. They feel something tap their shoulder. They hear someone giggle. They see their breath. The elevator will just straight up stop working. Like they'll get on it to go back upstairs. They'll press the button to go to floor one. It just sits there with the door open and the lights flicker. It just sits there, won't move. They keep pressing the button over and over, does nothing. So they have to leave the elevator. And as they leave the elevator, the doors will shut and it'll go up. They'll have to take the stairs because then they can't call it back down. So you tell
Yeah.
me what is or what isn't there. Uh, it's a weird fight. God, I hate it every time like that. Like that's one true ghost story that like it puts chills down my spine because it's just how it was told to me.
Right.
And and it doesn't help that it was told to me while I was in the bottom of the library with a bunch of friends. Like it didn't help. So every time I talk about it, every time I mention the story and I repeat the story how it was told to me, it's just fucking it's one of those. It's like, damn, that's a ghost story. That is a ghost story that you don't think about. But yeah, no, it's but anyhow. It's a random tangent.
Ooh.
Yeah, this episode's gonna be long. Oh goodness. But on that note, do you have anything else, Christina? Anything to
I'm a
add?
little freaked out about that story about the guy and the drooling.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, right? So, like, here's the thing: it's the '70s and '80s, right? So, like, closer towards the '80s, still in the '70s, drugs are, a very popular thing,
Good and
and
bad.
Huntington is, drug capital of Western West Virginia.
Wow.
Um, still is to this day. But it's like, did he take something? Did he OD? Did he see something? Did he, you know, there's no background story of his practicing faith.
Right.
So we don't know if he conjured something up. We don't know if something attached themselves to him, like on the spiritual side, on the paranormal side. We don't know. There's no like true accounts of that. Like I said, there's different versions of the story. Like I said, the one. Let me see real quick because the one online. Let's see, haunted library, Marshall University. Okay, so the haunted library. Okay, so it is not known now, of course, as the John D. Verdrinko Library. It is Marshall University's main academic hub. Of course, that is I'm sorry, the James E. Morrow Library. That's what it is. Okay, the Stack Tower. This is in the basement. Okay, so this is in the basement. Visitors and library workers have reported unexplained heavy footsteps, sudden cold drafts, and shadowy figures pacing the narrow labyrinths aisles. The It says the upper tower floors, but this is not the upper tower. This is the basement. Whispers in the stacks. People have heard whispers in the stacks of the Morrow Library. Um, part of the library's ghostly lore is attributed to the fact that the campus rests on a very old, historically contested land of the Indians, the Native Americans. This is
Right.
true. Marshall University was founded on top of some Indian burial grounds of the Kanawha Indians of Kanawha, West Virginia. So,
Wow.
and real pronunciation is Kanawha, but me being the hick that I am and where I've lived all my life, it is Kanawha. And if you say anything different, you are not from here, and we know it. But um, yeah, so I mean, Marshall has its ties in screwing shit up, doing things that it shouldn't be doing, and this is the James Morrow Library. And here's the thing: it was not always called the James Morrow Library because it was built about the same time that Holden B. Hall was built. Holden B. Hall had been torn down because it is so old, and it was also at one point a tuberculosis ward, um, as everything was.
Yeah.
So it just it's very interesting. But the guy, kind of going back to him, you don't think paranormal. You think, oh, he did some drugs. He fucking did some LSD. He did some crank, some meth. Maybe he
Right.
did fucking oxy. You have no clue, right? There's no toxicology report on him, right? And here's the thing: the history doesn't even mention his name. There's no name to this person. There's just
Hmm.
maintenance man. There's no name. Like, there are some older teachers of Marshall, two of them that I know offhand. I won't mention their names for privacy reasons, but two of them know well of the history of the James E. Morrow Library. Um, and one of them refuses to absolutely go in it. Won't even go in the building. Won't even step in the front desk. Refuses because of the stories they've heard. So, I
Wow.
mean, that's I don't know how much truth is to it, but it's truth enough to know that if I go in there, I get sick almost. I get cold and I get sick. Like, my stomach hurts. Like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. I get lightheaded. My vision goes blurry. So like you said, whatever's down there definitely doesn't like me down there. She does
Right.
not like me. Um, I would love to go back though. Not going to say I'm not. I don't want to. I'm saying I'd love to go back, but I have to get special permission because I'm not a student
Right.
anymore. I mean, I'm an alumni, so maybe that will count. It's like, oh, hey, I'm an alumni. I'm okay. But, it's weird.
Cool.
It's definitely it's not talked about a lot, but it's the point. But anyways, on that note, ladies and germs, or gentlemen's, theys, them, he, she's, he, whatever you go by. We do not judge here. Thank you again, of course, for listening to As Skeleton Key Turns. You can find us on our very popular social media platforms. And Christina has done something amazing that I didn't think would happen because Apple is sometimes stingy. We are now on Apple Podcasts. That's right. For all you iPhone listeners that don't exactly like to use Spotify and you like to use Apple Podcasts, we are there. That's right. You can now find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So 6 platforms, 6 different ways to listen to us, 6 different ways to engage with us. So you have all the areas. Well, 666, whatever. You have all the areas to talk with us and interact with us, and it's we thank you all for listening. Of course, please don't forget that if you need some ghost hunting equipment, that you can of course use. Was it Ghost? It's on our Facebook
Go
page.
stop.
Yes, Ghost Shop. Yeah, Ghost Stop.
Yeah,
Ghost Stop.
go stop.
Yeah.
And, talking
Yeah.
about Gettysburg, if you ever want to, be in a location with maybe some ghost tours, it's Ghost Adventures USA or USA Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, USA Ghost Adventures. That's it. So USA Ghost Adventures. Use our link to support us, please. You don't get a discount, but you do support us as
Yes.
podcasters trying to make it in this wonderful, wonderful, spooky world. Um, Yet again, of course, like we said before, we do not condone that you go to Centralia, Pennsylvania. Please, there is no reward for the risk. Do not do it. Do not risk it for the biscuit. Do not pack go. Do not collect $200. And whatever you do, you will not go. You will not get out of jail free card. Not going to happen,
No.
folks. Sorry. So if you do, use a drone. Make sure you follow laws. If you don't, YouTube. YouTube exists for a reason.
Right.
But yes, thank you all again, of course, for listening. We hope that you all have enjoyed this episode. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, do whatever you do. Share this with your friends, all that. We would absolutely love to make sure that we reach as many people as we possibly can. Share this with your boss if they're a conspiracy theorist. Share this with HR if they're like paranormal stuff, but don't actually like corner HR because like that's bad and gory. Thank you again, of course, for listening. I, of course, am always the one and only Gray, joined by the one and only Christina. Have a good night.
Good night.